Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope you're all doing fine. Welcome back to another webinar. So, today we'll be talking about a feature that is based on AI. I hope most of you might be knowing what AI is. AI simply means artificial intelligence, which helps you to, uh, which helps you in your everyday task and whatever you are doing to make it easier for you. It does the job for you basically. So we'll be talking about a feature that is AI driven and helps you to research on stocks at a much faster pace and with more efficiency because most of the work is being done by AI and you don't have to do, you just only have to do the decision making. So this webinar will revolve around AI driven features. So let's begin. So we so to first I'll be introducing you to ProTips, the feature that I was just talking about. It's called ProTips, and it is simply a tool that helps you to that gives you bite-sized information based on the financial statements of the company, its peers, ratios, and all to help you figure out what's going on with the company without even having to look at the financial statements and everything. So let's say if the company is paying exceptionally good dividends. So you don't have to even look at the dividend history of the company or its DPS, that's dividend per share or dividend yield, or even its any of the dividend metrics, the management policy. The pro tips will automatically fetch that information and will show it to you in a very concise form. So this is what pro tips is all about. And obviously, we'll be showing you how to use pro tips in your stock analysis and its features and benefits. And as usual, at the end, there's something for you for the audience of this webinar. And obviously, the Q&A session wherein you can ask all your doubts and queries. So let's begin with ProTips, which is your personal financial advisor. I'll be going through the pro tips with real examples, but first let's dive deep into what pro tips is all about, its features and all. Then I'll be switching to the stock analysis for real-time analysis. So pro tips summarizes complex data. So let's say if you don't even have to know about intricacies of financial metrics like let's say PG ratio or any sort of ratio or balance sheet or P&L statements. ProTips does this automatically for you. It analyzes all such data points and summarizes it in a very concise form. Then it prioritizes key insights. So basically, let's say if ProTips is going through uh, a lot of data, right, which is not a big deal for AI. So after going through it, obviously not all the information would be necessary for the investor. Some would be like not so much important for you to consider it. So what ProTips does, it automatically picks out those pieces of information that are important to the investor from the investing point of view. Now you would ask how it's done. It's done by AI automatically. So AI decides which information is important to you and which is not, and displays only the key insights for you. So you don't have to go through the entire set of data points. Then it classifies insights based on bullish and bearish. This is very important. So sometimes what happens, obviously, if you do not know much about the financial data or the metrics, how would you get to know whether this information is good for the stock or bad for the stock? Again, you don't need to worry about it. ProTips automatically does it. So AI, again, because it's AI, so it automatically fetches that information and classifies into three categories actually. One is bullish, one is bearish, and the other one is neutral. So if ProTips thinks that this information is bullish for the stock, the information is highlighted as a bullish piece of information in the green box. I'll show it to you when we'll be doing stock analysis. If the ProTips thinks it's a bearish information, then again it's highlighted in red and neutral is highlighted in gray. So even if you do not know much about how to interpret that information, again, ProTips comes to your rescue and it automatically segregates these pieces of information in bullish, bearish, and neutral categories. Again, it provides contextual information. So, not just about the stock in a specific manner. ProTips also gives you a view of how the stock relates to its peers or the industry or other back-tested data. So, if you're, let's say, looking at Reliance Industries, so ProTips won't only tell you about Reliance Industries, it also fetches information of its peers and industry benchmarks, and then it also compares Reliance Industries with its other peers and benchmarks to give you a more contextual information, contextual insights. So let's say if the stock is trading at a PE of 20, price to earnings ratio of 20, so this information alone might not make much of a sense because you don't know what its peers are trading at or what the industry benchmark is. Only then you will be able to define its relative value. So ProTips again does that for you. So, I mean, you don't have to even compare the stock to others manually. Everything is be taken care of by this AI feature, which is Pro Tips. Okay, so again, it works on financial data like your uh, P&L statement, balance sheet, and everything. It also gauges the market trend of the stock. Again, it also looks at the peer comparison, industry benchmarks, back testing, everything. ProTips is not limited to any single scope. It has multiple verticals wherein it uh, dives deep into the information and takes out the right kind of information which is important to you and then segregates it in bullish, bearish, or neutral information. Now, how many stocks are covered in Pro Tips? You might ask. So obviously, Investing Pro, if you have used Investing Pro or Pro Plus, you would know that all global stocks are covered there. Similarly, Pro Tips also covers all global stocks that are there in the investing database, which includes international stocks. You talk about US stocks, European, Chinese, you name it, and it's there, including Indian stocks as well. A bit of features like there is one feature which is called Pro Picks, which is I mean currently in development for the Indian markets. There is another feature called Ideas, I mean which again uh, is I mean there are some features which might not be relevant to Indian stocks, but ProTips is not one of them. ProTips gives you the information of every single Indian stock that is listed on the NSE and BSE. So you don't have to worry about whether it's there for the Indian markets or whether it will be beneficial to me. It covers all. If you are investing in global stocks, again, you can use ProTips, and most of you would be investing in the Indian market, so you can obviously use ProTips on Indian stocks as well. So let's go to ProTips now to give you hands-on view, hands-on experience of how to use. Okay, so okay, let's find let's go to stock winner. um, Strong upside. Okay, this strong upside is an inbuilt screener which helps you to find out undervalued stocks. Mm, okay, let's pick. Okay, Indus Tower. First step is obviously to find. I mean, there are over 2,000 stocks listed on the NSE, so obviously you cannot look at each one of them. So the first criteria could be to only filter your stock list based on their valuation. So for this, we can use, I mean, you can use your method, whatever you would like to use. I'm here using the screener, which is inbuilt in Investing Pro, and it helps you to find out undervalued stocks. So this way, your stock universe gets narrowed down to only those stocks that are undervalued and not anything and everything that's out there. So we'll be looking at Indus Towers. you can see, you might be familiar with fair value. Fair value is simply an automated financial modeling tool. So, fundamental investors use financial modeling to figure out what is the intrinsic value of the stock. Intrinsic value is the uh, true perceived value of the company. I mean, let's say if the stock is trading at 100 and its intrinsic value is 120, that means the stock is undervalued by 20 rupees. And if the stock is trading at 100 and its intrinsic value is 80 rupees, then that means it's overvalued by 20 rupees. So intrinsic value helps you to define whether the stock is undervalued or overvalued. Uh, Obviously, you need a lot of skill set to do financial modeling, which can even take weeks to just model one company or stock, but it's been done automatically here in Investing Pro for every stock, including the Indian stocks. So here, let's say, for example, Indus Towers, 13 financial models have been used here, and every model uses its own data points and own methods to find out the intrinsic value of the company. So what happens? Some models might throw a very low value. Models might give you a very high value, intrinsic value. So what fair value does? It takes all those values and takes an average of them, so that gives you a more workable and realistic intrinsic value, and also it helps you to negate extreme values. So let's say if the fair value according to one model is 100 and fair value according to another model is 200, so obviously on which value would you work? Would you wait for 100? Would you wait for 200? So it creates a lot of confusion. So to remove these extreme values, fair value takes the average of all the intrinsic values of the financial models used in the stock and gives you a better, realistic, and more workable target. So, as per these 13 financial models, fair value of Indus Towers is 415. That means the CMP is 317. So, if anyone who buys at 317 can hold the stock till 415, which gives you an upside potential of 30.8%. So, this way you can look at the fair value. Now, what is pro tips? Here you see these four lines over here. This is actually pro tips, and you might have also seen this screenshot in my articles as well. So pro tips again helps you to, I mean, this is objective data. If you look at it, this is the objective data. There are no subjectivities or ambiguity around here. The financial models that are used all have I mean, this is quantitative valuation. Obviously, there's no subjectivity around here. But here you can see even the subjective uh, pieces of information that can influence your decision making. So let's say the first information, it says the management has been aggressively buying back shares, which is listed in the green box, and here the bull icon is there. So what does that mean? The management of the company, whenever the management buys back shares, that is perceived as a bullish signal because uh, look at it this way, why would I want to buy the shares of my company? The only reason that anyone can give is because I have more faith in the future aspects of my business, right? If I don't think my business would do well in the future, why would I buy the shares of my company? So buyback by the management is always a good sign, and buybacks are mostly done above the market price. That, let's say if the stock is trading at 100, the buyback will always be done above 100. So that also drives the price of the share till the buyback level, approximately till there. So from the fundamental point of view, it is a bullish sign because it shows the management's faith in the business. And from the technical point of view, it is also bullish sign because something trading at 100 and the company wants to buy it back at 120. So what happens? People also tend to buy the stock at 100 in a hope that their share will also be bought by the company, and in this buying action, the price is driven higher. So again, it's obviously, if you do not know all these theories about the buyback, you can still perceive it as a bullish signal because ProTips has already told you it's a bullish signal by highlighting it in green box. Second, it says RSI suggests the stock is in oversold territory. This is the technical point. Oversold simply means the stock has fallen quite sharply in a very short span of time. That is what oversold is in technical parlance. So again, as I told you, you don't even have to look at the chart to see whether the stock is oversold, overbought, or how high or low it has risen or fallen. ProTips automatically does it for you. It automatically looked at the chart and the RSI value. If it was above 70, the RSI is. Oh, please ignore the background noise of this band. Wedding season is going on, so a lot of chaos. Okay, where was I? RSI. So RSI has benchmark values of 70 and 30, 70 being overbought and 30 being oversold. So if the RSI's value is above 70, the pro tips will suggest you that the stock is oversold in the red box because it is a bearish signal now. Because obviously you would not want to buy a stock that has already been overbought, right? If the stock falls below 30, RSI triggers the oversold reading, and which is being picked by Pro Tips, and it automatically tells you that the stock has fallen quite sharply, and it is now oversold as per RSI, which is again a bullish signal because that is when most of the investors would want to buy the stock. That is after the beaten down prices. So for all of this, you don't even manually have to dig into the charts or the management's policy of share buybacks, everything. Then trading at low earnings multiple, prominent player. Now here it says stock has fared poorly over the last month in the red. Uh, uh, I mean red box with a bear sign. What does that mean? The pro tip says that the stock has fallen quite sharply in the last 1 month. So you would probably want to uh, at least consider this information before buying the stock. If you go at the a little bit lower, you see the 1 month chart. It has fallen by 17.8% in the past 1 month. So while it can be considered as a bullish signal because RSI is now oversold, as you can see, the RSI suggests the stock is oversold. It is a bullish signal. But ProTips also warns you of a fairly sharp price drop in the last 1 month because it could be due to a severe, what do you say, a severe, I mean, anything could have gone wrong with the company. So you might want to investigate about it before buying the stock. So let's say uh, there's a management change and the new CEO that has come is maybe does not have a good reputation or is not considered as a good management guy by the market. So I mean, the pro tips wants you to consider such information before buying the stock. Just don't blindly buy a stock that has fallen from 100 to 80. That alone is not the reason to buy. This is what ProTips wants to say. So it also suggests that you might want to investigate there is such a sharp fall and why it has happened so. Again, analysts predict the company will be profitable this year. So analyst means all these brokerage houses and um, all these institutions that come out with stock reports generally after their earnings. It is also being combined in Investing Pro. So you don't have to manually look at what Morgan Stanley is saying, what JP Morgan is saying, what Bernstein is saying. Any XYZ analyst that has come up with the report is automatically being fetched by Investing Pro. And because the reports are in the database, ProTips also digs into that database and gives you an information that might be useful for you. So majority of the analysts are considering that the stock is that the company will be profitable this year. You can also look at the analyst target over here. You can see analyst target section. It says 22 analysts. That means 22 analysts are covering the stock. Analysts again means your brokerage houses, your institutions, and everyone who comes out with a report and a target. So the targets have been given from 280 to 575. The lowest target being given is 280. The highest one is 575 among all these 22 analysts. The average of them is 403. Obviously, as I told you, we will try to work on averages. We will not consider the extreme values. Like here, if you were to buy or sell that stock or take any investment decision, what value would you consider? Would you consider 280 or 575? Those are such extreme values, so much apart from each other. It's not even workable, because 575 will make the stock bullish because it's over the CMP, and 280 will make the stock bearish because it's below the CMP. So that will create quite a contradiction. So what we will do, again, we will take the average, which is automatically being taken here. 403 is the average here. So average target by analyst is 403. CMP is 317. Again, it's a bullish signal. Profitable in the last 12 months. Again, you don't even have to look at the P&L statement. It automatically tells you that this company is profitable over the last 12 months and does not pay dividend to shareholders. If you look at it closely, this information is highlighted in the gray box with uh, a neutral faced emoji. If you can, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, now you probably can see a neutral faced emoji and uh, this grayish box, because it's being denoted as a neutral information. Why neutral? Because obviously dividend, if the company pays dividend, that is good and it will reflected in the green box. But if it does not pay dividend, even that might not be bearish sign, because there are two cases when the company does not dividend. First, if it's a loss making company, obviously then it cannot pay dividend because dividends are paid out of profits. So if it's a loss-making company, it cannot pay dividend. That's a bearish sign, obviously. But here the company is profitable. As you can see, it's profitable over the last 12 months, and analysts predict the company will be profitable this year as well. So profit is not the issue. So probably what can happen, the company is retaining those profits for further business prospects. That is a very good sign. I mean, if I am earning 20 rupees, I might not want to give 10 rupees to my shareholders. I might want to save the entire 20 rupees so that I can take I mean, I can seize opportunities in the future because I need money to seize opportunities. That's a bullish sign. So, dividend, I mean, company not paying dividend is not a bearish sign. It can be bearish when the company is loss making. That is the P&L statement that is the bearish sign. Dividends alone is kind of a neutral thing. Some, I mean, people would want to get dividends, some would not. So that's their choice. This is how you can look at pro tips to further uh, get information about the stock. In fact, if you click at, let's say, trading at low earnings multiple, if you click on it, you will get further insights into the peer benchmark. Because let's say it's taking the P ratio, earnings multiple. So if you look at this, what was the name? Indus Tower. It is comparing it with pairs, and the average PE ratio is 13. And if you see Indus Tower, it's below 13. That means it's trading below its peer benchmark. That's again a good sign. So you can even click on uh, this bite-sized information to get further detailed analysis. Talking about dividends, let's look at IOC. Everyone knows dividend stock, all these OMCs, oil marketing companies. If you look at it, if you go to the pro tips, you can see pays a significant dividend to shareholders, the second option, right? So this is being highlighted in green. It is not neutral because significant dividend is always a bullish sign. I mean, there's nothing contradictory here. If I'm getting dividend, that's a good sign. And because it's a significant dividend, it's highlighted over here. So you don't even have to go to check the dividend yield of the stock, its payout history, its DPS, management's dividend policy, nothing. You just look at the pro tips, and if there is a significant dividend, pro tips will tell you that there's a significant dividend yield. So those who are dividend seekers who want to buy dividend stocks for their, I mean, stable, not stable, but a good source of income, can look at it, can look at such. If you go to the dividends tab over here, you can further find details about the industry. Let's say this payout history, this payout details in, I mean, date wise. You can see the yield over here. That's 11%. So 11% yield. That's, I mean, even more than your high risk bonds as well. So 11% is like crazy high dividend, and that too for a company that is a large cap company. So I mean, yeah, it's a significant dividend and a very good quality company. It's not a one-time dividend. Sometimes what happens, company declares a dividend only one time, and then the dividend yield shoots up, and then for the next 2 3 years there are no dividends. But you can see the history here. Every single year, some dividend has been given. In 23, the total was 8 rupees. In 22, the total was somewhere around a little bit over 5. In 21, it was 5 to 7 plus 1, 8 plus 3, 11, more than that. So again, you can see the dividend payout. You can see dividend yield chart over here. And you can also time the entry of the stock based on dividend yield chart. So when the dividend yield chart shoots up, that's a good sign to buy that stock from the dividend perspective. Again, that I mean, there's whole lot of stuff you can do here in Investing Pro, but the main focus is the ProTips, which automatically told you that. I mean, if you are interested in dividends, you should definitely consider this stock because, again, for significant dividend. 18% drop in the last 1 month. Again, I mean, you can also consider it as a, I mean, good information because you are getting at a bargain. So all these information, bite size, and look at the ease, and I mean, look at the ease with which the information is displayed. I mean, there is no complexity over here. There is no jargons used over here. There is no subjectivity or nothing of this sort. Everything is being simple, concise, and to the point. Again, stock has fared poorly over the last 1 month. As you can see, has maintained dividend payment over the 24 consecutive years. That's commendable. Again, there is an important piece of information. The pro tips knows that those who are interested in dividends would definitely want to look at this information, which says the stock has never missed a single year for the last 24 years to pay dividends. So 24 consecutive years of dividend payouts. Again, you don't have to look at the entire 22 decades of history. Pro tips automatically tells you if it's important. Again, profitable over the last 12 months, high return over the last decade, strong returns last 5 years. So all these, I mean, bite-sized information are displayed by ProTips, and you can, I mean, it can definitely influence your decision making. So don't just go on the basis of fair value. I mean, let's say a fair value here is 128. That means there is a 5% for 4.7% downside potential because the CMP is above the fair value, which is 134. So just looking at this information, you might not want to buy that stock because it is overvalued, which is, I mean, fine. I mean, if this stock is overvalued, but if you look at the information on dividends, like the significant dividend to shareholders and 24 years of consecutive dividend history, I personally might want to consider the stock at here only because I probably might not be a value seeker. I might be more interested in dividend stocks. So, in pro tips caters to all forms of investors, be it dividend seekers, value seekers, growth oriented investors. So, so, I mean, it's all up to you which kind of information is more meaningful to you, and then you can act upon it. This is what pro tips is all about. And you can get this bite-sized information on every stock, every listed NSE BSE stock, plus the global stocks as well. So you can combine it with the fair value, you can combine it with the financial health score, which I've explained it in my previous webinars. And I mean, you can also look at the health score to make a decision. And you can combine pro tips with other tools and other analysis to further refine your decision making. This is all about pro tips, which is AI driven feature of InvestingPro Pro Plus, which helps you to take just focus on the decision making, and everything is being done by pro tips, digging out information, segregating it in the bullish or bearish or neutral categories, then displaying what's important and what's not, filtering out all such information. Everything is being taken care of by pro tips. So yeah, this is it. This is all about pro tips. And as usual for you, there, I mean, some of you might be knowing that we are running 55% Black Friday sale on Investing Pro and Pro Plus. I mean, up to 55% based on your plan. So 2 year plans has 55% off. You can grab your offer, and those who are attending this webinar, the offer for you is even higher. It's actually almost 70% for just for those who are attending this webinar, not for everyone else. So what you have to do, uh, you can scan this QR code. It will directly take you the webinar, the subscription page, and from there you can choose your plan, everything else. Here are the steps that you can follow. Um, okay. Okay. So yeah, the Q&A session now. If you have any queries, you can definitely ask me. Uh, Good evening, Deepak Kumar. Okay. Any questions you can ask me. If you personally want to ask me, you can obviously mail me at ayush.k@investing.com. You can even reach out to me on Twitter. That's my handle is Ayush X Khanna. It's written over here. Anything else? If you want to ask me, you can mail me. You can even ask me here. Else, we'll be wrapping up this webinar. Okay, if you, yeah, okay. So yeah, I guess no questions. So let's wrap it up. Okay, then. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. I hope you're having a good day. And apologies for the noise in the background. It's wedding season, cannot do anything. So yeah, good evening. Then have a nice. Okay, one query I guess has come up. Sir, I joined late. How did you find this page of the company? Okay, you joined late. No worries. Okay, so what we will do, we will upload this webinar. We'll try to upload this webinar on our YouTube channel. So you can, I mean, look at it over. I mean, you can watch the entire webinar on our YouTube channel. We'll try to upload it there. Um, okay. So hi, the link is showing only 55%. Yes, the link is showing 55%, but the link, I mean, the normal page is showing 55%, but for you guys, it's 70%. If you subscribe, I mean, if you go to the payment page, the through this link, it will be 70% off as compared to the 55%, which is available for others who are generally, I mean, uh, who are not attending this webinar. Want the QR code? Okay, here is the QR code. Okay, yes, it was awesome explanation. Thanks for your time and information. Thank you, Deepak. I hope it's fruitful for you guys. And again, if you have any queries, you can definitely mail me. Even if you're having any queries regarding the payment or anything regarding the subscription, or you want to ask me about Investing Pro, Pro Plus, anything, you can obviously mail me at ayush.k@investing.com. The ID is listed over here. From where I get the QR code for payment. Yogesh, the QR code is here on this page. Here the QR code is. And you don't need to worry about it. All of you who have registered for the webinar, we'll be sending you the exclusive link for your payment on your mail. So don't worry about it. We'll be sending you the payment link as well on your email ID. So, okay, I guess now it's time to wrap it up. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. Have a nice day. Goodbye.